So after understanding population, it's time to go through on a higher scale. So here we are talking about community. Community talks about a group of individuals or group of populations of multiple species. So populations and the group of individuals belong to the same species. Now we are talking about multiple species that actually share a particular environmental resource. Okay, so it could be anything like a tree, it could be a river, it could be a pond, and we are dealing with a group of individuals of different species who are staying across the resource or around the resource. Now usually they are regionally specified, so a community in one region will be different from a community of a different region. So community have different aspects to study about. It could be the composition of community, like how is it formed, and the structure, like where it is placed, how is structured over time, and the dynamics, how it changes over time. And one of the most important thing is interaction, which we'll study in the next session or the next class. We'll focus mostly on the composition, structure, and dynamics of a community, whereas interaction talks about different species that interacting. Okay. So starting with the composition of a community. A community is usually composed of multiple species, as we have known, multiple species that vary with their population sizes. Okay, so the physical extent of a community depends upon the population that are thriving in that community. It is also based on the available resources, which decides the population and which in turn decides the size of the community. Then we are talking about diversity. Diversity talks about the distribution of different species in that area. What are the types of species, what are the number of individuals of one particular species, of different species, and their abundances. So all of these combine together to form the basic idea of different diverse species staying in one particular area with different population and different numbers. So that talks about diversity. Now there is all of these, the size and the population of a particular region, of a particular community, is dependent on few ecological conditions. Okay, so that is the ecological amplitude. Ecological amplitude talks about the range of tolerable environmental conditions that allows that particular species or particular population to strive there and to live there out. Okay, so these are a basic idea of the composition of community, how a community is composed of. We'll study in detail about few of the factors in further slides as well. Now the important aspect of it is the structure of community, how the community is structured, how they seem different with respect to other regions. Now we know that different species, there are multiple species, so the different species will appear different obviously, but even through that a single area might have different structures of community. Okay, it actually depends on how they are occupied, I mean the species have occupied the particular region, or how they are stratified or they are distributed over a particular region. Okay, occupancy talks about how do a species occupies a particular space. Okay, the space could be over time, over a physical space, it could be over a regional space, it could be an ecological space as well. So spatial occupancy talks about occupancy of space or occupying a particular space. Okay, it is usually physical extent, and we talk about habitat and microhabitat. So physical space occupied by a certain species is called its habitat. So physical space talks about a particular region, okay, which is occupied a certain species or a group of species even. So what is the habitable space of that community? I mean, how much of region has that community occupied? Okay, that becomes a habitat. Habitat talks about a region with habitable conditions. Okay. So if I'm talking right now, if I'm living in an area, so this is my habitat. I mean my home, which is covered by cemented structures. I have roof over my head. I have tiles. I have all these structures with electronic lights and everything. And these artificial conditions makes me a particular kind of habitat. So that habitat is better for my living. And every habitat differs with particular species. But small group of organisms always tend to strike back in a certain environmental conditions. So that is the microhabitat. So microhabitat is a specialized physical space. Okay, so I have specialized my need according to me. Like my home, my specific room is different from the all the houses that are present next to me or my street. Okay, so my house is specialized for me. So that is my microhabitat. So it varies across different species, even in different population of individuals as well. Some group of individuals specialize their regions or their areas with their specific needs. And then comes ecological occupancy. Ecological occupancy is different because it is a conceptual idea where it talks about a specialized region for different species. Now they can be not only about space, they can talk about time, it could be about resources, it could be about different environmental factor, it depends. So these are our ecological occupancies that we are talking about. It depends on multiple factors. It can be about one factor, it can be about multiple factors. So all in all, the idea is about niche. So niche talks about an ecological space, I mean a region which is occupied by a particular species and that is suitable for that species only. And it's made specifically to avoid any other transition of resources or sharing of resources, so that it becomes a specialized structure of resource availability of a share of resource. So I took my share of resource from a particular resource in that area. Okay, in that particular region there was n resource and I took n by 5 because that's what I needed for my resources. So n by 5 will become my specific need, and that region, the area that I occupied with that particular resource will become my niche. So that's the basic idea, but we'll talk in detail as all about that as well. But before going to it, we need to go through this theory that is called competitive exclusion theory. Now, competitive exclusion theory talks about a very basic idea which was given by Gauss. Gauss's hypothesis talks about a specific state of existence or coexistence, where it talks about if two or more species are occupying the same space of the same region and are dependent on the same resource, then they are obviously bound to compete. Okay, if two species are dependent on the same resource and share the same region, then they are bound to compete each other. Okay, and they cannot coexist actually, so they will compete. So if the competition happens, then one which dominate will get the resource. Obviously one will dominate, will get the resource and the region. But the thing is, once it dominates the resource, the other one will go extinct, or the other one will have to leave that particular region. Okay, so that is the competitive exclusion theory. So one will compete and one will be get excluded. Okay, now the idea is, now what will happen is, as because competition is happening, so one region can be occupied by one particular species only, which was not true because there is also a case of coexistence. So few species actually coexist together. Okay, so that wasn't mentioned in Gauss's hypothesis, so it was the drawback. Okay, the other drawback is talking about resource partitioning. So coexistence cannot be helped if the resource is not divided actually. So if you are competing, there are chances that you are competing for the same resource, but if the resource preferences or if the resource dependency is different between the two specific species, like I need a resource in a different manner than you need, so what I'll do is I'll divide the resource in such a manner that will be beneficial for me. Okay, and the other one part will be left out so that it will be beneficial for them. Okay, so some part will be beneficial for A, some part will be beneficial for B. So that will be divided in such a manner that each of them get equal sort of resources. There might be some ups and downs depending on which is dominant and which is docile, but still the idea remains that the resources will be divided so that each of will get some share. So it won't happen that one will get the entire share and the other one will be excluded entirely. So that is an attribute of coexistence. What else can be done? The other thing is character displacement. Character displacement talks about if I'm still occupying the same resource in the same manner. Let's there are two individuals, okay, and two of them are occupying the same resource in the same manner. So actually one of them have to back down in the sense that they have to modify their ability to acquire a resource. I mean, imagine a situation where a particular fruit is present. Okay, the fruit that is available, if both of them are feeding on the fruit, then they will compete for each other. Fine, so they will compete and the dominant one will take over, the other one have to leave. But the thing is, I cannot actually wait for the seed to come out and seed to it. So what I need to do is I need to modify myself so that I can be able to eat the seed. Okay, right now I don't have facilities to digest or eat the seed, so I have to depend on the fruit only. But if I modify myself, if I modify in such a manner that I'll be dependent on the other part which is not occupied or utilized by that species, so the both of them can actually live in peace, right? So that sort of change in a character or change in a particular adaptation or a factor is called character displacement, where one particular character has changed with respect to utilize themselves for coexistence. This is an important case that you have seen in case of Darwinian finches, and that is an example of character displacement, where different type of pigs evolved to enable them to eat different kind of foods. So one of the example that was given by competitive exclusion theory, it was an experiment was done by MacArthur and Wilson. So they did an experiment where they saw, not an experiment actually, the observation that they saw is in a pine tree, five species of warbler occupied five different regions. Okay, so the Cape warbler or the Cape May warbler occupied the uppermost region. Okay, and then Blackberryan warbler occupied the middle region, so the edges of the middle regions. Okay, so they occupied the edges. Then you can see that black-throated warbler occupied the edges of the middle region. Now this region was occupied by black-throated warbler, and so on. Bay-breasted warbler occupied the central region in the middle region, and then yellow-rumped warbler occupied the lower region, and it was occupied with sharing of other parts. Okay, so the thing that you are seeing, that they occupy different regions so that all of them will get equal amount of resources or somewhat similar amount of resources. If they have occupied all the region and all of them will be fighting, so they won't be coexisting. So now these five wobblers distributed themselves across physical space so that they don't compete for the resource that are available in that particular physical space. So the fruits or the leaves that are coming in that region will be occupied by that warbler, and similarly they will be shared. Okay, so this kind of sharing of resources, it might be a physical space, it might be a physical characteristic, it might be an environmental factor, it might be anything, leads to coexistence of that species. Because that is important part where you need to understand that competition and coexistence go hand in hand. So competition leads to one particular case where one will dominate and one will be excluded, whereas coexistence talk about sharing of the resources, where it can either result in partitioning of the resource or it can either resource of division of my own character. Okay, so it can be either resource partitioning, where I am actually dividing the resource and each of them will get equal amount of shares. So if they can divide the resource between themselves, so one can go for displacement of character, that is change in sort of character such that it occupies a section of the resource which is not required by the other one. Seems clear? We'll move to the next one.